Greetings, Glitter Gang, and welcome back to Kathryn Scraps Live. My name is Kathryn, and this is the third recording from the afternoon of August 10th. We're doing a long afternoon show and no evening show. And that may happen more regularly just because the weather has not been kind to the evening shows. And I do have a severe weather alert for today. So on any days where I have one of those on a Thursday, we may just do these extended afternoon shows when the power is more stable, because we seem to have more problems with power at night. Okay, so here we go. So what we've been doing is we've been making inserts to go in here. We made these in Photoshop. There is a recording of how to do this, of me doing it. And this way you get your own kind of custom pattern paper. And I'm just going to now, cut these apart and cut them down. They need to be 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, so just shy of 5 by 7. And so I'm going to cut them down. We made 6 of them. All right, so to give an idea of what they'll look like, whoop, okay, hello. And then ta-da! All right, so that turned out fantastic. Good work, everyone. Okay, so we've got that one. And we've got this one. And then we do have 2 more. All right. And then that one. And finally, that one. All right. Now, we only need to ink one edge of these, and that is the right edge because it's the only edge that can be seen. Okay? So, just going to go ahead and just ink that right edge. And if you want to ink the corners just so, because you can see a touch of the corner, you can. So I'm just going to go around the corner just for that reason. I love how the Christmas mixer turned out. You know, it just looks like a Christmas mixer. It looks like it just got done making that bun. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and tape these. And we're going to tape the right edge and then like the top and bottom maybe halfway, and then we're not going to tape over here. Just like we do with everything that goes in a pocket, we're just taping the top and the sides. Okay, it's just that the pocket is sideways, so. That's good, Melanie. Easy is good. And then we'll do the sides and we'll be good. I'm just gonna so anyway, so this is, and then this is still construction. I know it feels like decorating, but the strap has to get adhered. The strap that holds the whole thing shut gets adhered between this and the cardstock base. So we did need, you know, with this one you do need some pattern paper to, you know, kind of quote unquote finish the construction. But all right, so that's all the tape for that. I'm going to cut these apart so they're ready to go. and then we'll burnish. And then it's just a matter of making the straps. And luckily the straps that we have left are much easier than the straps we already did. Not that those straps were hard. Less time consuming, I guess I'll say. So I read a good book this week. It's very short. Foster by Claire Keegan, which is a really good example of a book that's very economical in terms of the pages, the words, whatever, but has lots of big ideas. Lots of big ideas. Huge cultural context and things like that. And just a really beautiful story as well. Just like night, you know. Now I know the book that everyone's talking about right now is Small Things Like These, which is by Claire Keegan, which I haven't read. But Foster was beautiful. I would be happy to read anything else. You know, just amazing the amount of things Claire Keegan was able to kind of explore in such a small amount of pages, like not even 100 pages. So Foster by Claire Keegan. Got it from the library. Really, really beautiful. Okay, so now we got to get our big paper back to figure out how big to make the straps. All right, so I said 6 inches by 1.5 inches. 6 inches by 1.5 inches. Okay. Now this one, I had thought that what I would do is put Tyvek and pattern paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a 2-inch slice off the edge of each of these. Okay. And we're going to back the cardstock with this. So we're going to sandwich Tyvek in between this and the cardstock. Well, I figured you guys would at least be talking about small things like these in your book club. Mary. Or at least you would have. Didn't that came out last year, right? Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I thought you were all very current. It does make it expensive for sure. All right. So I'm just going to use the ones that we've already used and we'll just mix them up. Okay. Now it says that to do it 6 inches by 1.5 inches. I'm going to take a look at this and say, does it really need to be 6 inches? Let's measure how big this one is. Because I think it could be 5 inches if this one is 6 inches. Oh, it's the Modern Irish Arts. Ah, it is 6 inches. Okay, then I'm going to make mine 5 by 1.5. And the reason for that is it doesn't need to be the full 6, I don't think. But also I have a bunch of 5-inch scraps. So that'll keep me from having to cut new paper if I make it 5. But you can see we could lose an inch and still be able to expand quite a bit. you know, we could still expand this much and lose an inch. So I think we'll go ahead and lose an inch. Just so we can save some papes. Some papes. All right. So let's get our little cardstock stack back. Oh, they're 6 inches. Oh, well, lucky me. Never mind. I'm going to make them 1.5 by 6 inches. Whee! And then this one will be my third one. I just need to cut it with a ruler just because the Rototrim, as you know, is not amazing at cutting a small piece off a small piece. That's its one major flaw. Okay, so got those guys. And then here's some Tyvek. All right. Now, first let's cut these down to 1.5 inches. So anyways, that was my successful book. It's the best book I've read recently. All right, now what I'm going to do is just going to figure out, can I get these all on this one piece of Tyvek? Oh, guess what? She can. Okay. So I'm going to cut this. Okay. Now, here's what we're going to do. I want these to remain flexible. Very much so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Perfect Paper Adhesive Matte. This is by US Art Quest. And this is, in my opinion, for sticking, you know, Tyvek to cardstock or pattern paper to cardstock or anything like that. If you need the thing to remain flexible, this is the way to go. Because when it says matte, it does mean matte. It doesn't really make a huge mess on your piece. It doesn't leave a ton of shiny spots, not like, say, Scotch Quick Dry or something like that. Now, it's not perfect. It's not totally invisible. But it does a better job, for sure. Okay. So I'm just going to put that one over there by itself. We're just going to do, and then I'll get these started so I can set them off to the side and keep working on the one that's over there. US Art Quest does dry a little bit more slowly than some other glues, like particularly like more slowly than Scotch Quick Dry and the others like that. So like Art Glitter and them. So it's a much slower process, but And you can see I use quite a bit of glue, and that's because this needs to form like a sheet. So that's why I kind of squiggle it around as well. Alrighty. Okay. All right, last one. And then what we're going to do is, you know, just set these off to the side to dry up a little bit more. Okay. And try to clean the desk. All right. So I'm going to have these under bacon presses off to the side. Okay. So for this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim it, you know, closer. Okay. And we'll do this with all of them. The procedure will be the same for all of them. But I'm just doing, you know, I'm going to start with one. And then we're going to glue this to the pattern paper. All right. And then what I can do is trim this with the ruler. And I'm going to trim it flush with the green cardstock. And that'll trim off the excess Tyvek and the excess pattern paper. Okay, so I have all my little extra bits, and then here's my piece, and I'm going to chomp these corners with the large angle punch just to give a little extra bit of interest and to make it easier to go in and out of the piece. And then I'm going to ink, ooh, going to ink the edges. Okay. All right, so now we'll talk about how we're going to stick it down. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it through the straps, okay? And the reason this is hard for me is because it's still wet, so it has no like structural integrity. It's just soggy basically. So, all right, okay. All right, so once I've figured out where it's going to be, okay, what I want to do is I want to make a mark on this, okay, where it needs to be, like top to bottom. So I'm just marking with a pencil, you know, in between. It needs to go in between here and here, basically, like as a note to myself. Okay. Then I'm going to mark a line 1 inch. Did I do 1 inch? Where's my sample piece? Okay. So the part that's sticking out is like 4 inches. So I did 2 inches. Okay, I'm going to do 1.5 inches because I don't think it needs to be 4 full inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark a line on this, 1.5 inches in. And then I'm going to put my tape All right, so I'm going to remove this tape. And you should not do this as immediately as I'm doing it. This is still wet. Like, I can feel it's still wet. It's still soggy. Like, you want this to dry completely. So, you know, you give yourself some time if you can. All right, so now I'm going to come in and I'm going to line all 3 marks up. And then that's that. Oop. I'm going to burnish that really well. And then this is where this comes in, and this goes on top of everything. So the first thing I want to do, before I stick this down, is I just want to cut a piece of tape and stick it right here. Maybe I'll do 2 over this strap so that the strap is stuck to this and to the cardstock. So it's well sandwiched. Okay. And then we're going to peel the tape from this. Okay, so now this is ready to go in, and we're going to peel the tape from this. Okay, and then this slides in. Try to keep it from closing. All right, and then once it's in place, we can burnish. All right, and then this is perfectly lined up to go in here, but it's too wet. I can't. I gotta let it stay flat. So I think we'll call it here. And now that you see how this goes together, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, between now and next class, I'll just make the rest of the straps so we can attach them and put their covers on and go. But they really do need to be dry, so we'll go ahead and we'll give them the week to dry. And then we'll be ready to move on to matting. But to show, so what we'll have is we have this one. So we have the Holly Jolly. We have the Christmas tree shopping. We have the beginning to look a lot like Christmas. We have the stockings. We have the holiday baking mixer. And we have the joy. So we have all of those. So when we come back, what we'll do is, well, I'm hoping nothing happens. What I'm hoping is that we just have an abundance of caution, so we always get plenty done each week regardless, and then maybe nothing will happen. Then that's fine if nothing happens. But what I don't want is, you know, we've had crashes maybe 30 minutes into the show, and that's no fun. So this way we get plenty of crafting time, we make plenty of progress in the project, and yet, you know, we're still, we're just not fighting the weather. We're not fighting. So here's where we're gonna leave it. So I'm gonna let the other ones dry completely, and I'll put their backs on them. So when we start next class, the straps will be ready to go. And that's where we'll start it. So I'll be back at 2 p.m. on Thursday, August 17th. Wait, will I? I feel like that's my anniversary. Maybe we'll see. I'll be back at some point in the future. Usually I'm around at 2 p.m. on Thursdays. We'll see. We'll see. Probably Mr. Lifeguard would like some attention on our anniversary, so we'll see. Well, maybe we'll just do an afternoon class and then call it a day. So we may do that next week as well, even if the weather is more normal. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me, everyone. I continue to love the progress we're making with this project. It's going to look so cute when it's done. I'm so looking forward to it. Thanks for joining me for Christmas in July/August, Christmas in the summer Christmas vibes. And I will see you next week. Bye now.